On today's program, we're going to concentrate on dishonesty, how you can look at someone's handwriting and know whether someone lies, cheats, steals, whether they're unstable, all the good kind of stuff like that. Graphology, as you know, is the study of all graphic movement, not just handwriting. It's anything where you leave your imprint, such as drawings, sculptings, doodles, etching in the sand, anything you do like that is graphology. We are the only species on Earth that can write or leave our thoughts behind through written symbol. A lot of people aren't aware of how your graphic movement reveals so much about you. It reveals how you feel, so it reveals your emotions. If you're angry, if you're happy, if you're feeling gentle, if you're feeling aggressive, all these things will show up in your writing. Those are your emotions. It reveals our intelligence because we have to have a brain in order to write, and so our IQs, intelligence quotients, are also revealed in our handwriting, and so is our physiology, so that if we have any substance in the system like alcohol or drugs, it's going to show up in our writing. If we are physically ill, it's going to show up in our writing. So all of this is discernible in the writing. First question is, who's feeling more active, A or B? You can't give me the answer before I do this. Okay. Okay, some of you... Okay. Okay. Class, who's feeling more active, A or B? A. Oh, this was such a weak response. We have to give it something. Ready, set, A. Okay, this is how I want you to respond, okay? I need some energy here. Okay, let's just practice one more time. Who's feeling more active? A. Yes! Okay, who's feeling more up? No, don't give me the answer until I ask you to give it to me. Okay, who's feeling more up? Okay, ready, group? Who's feeling more up? B. Now, how do you know that? How come you all got the right answer? Did anybody guess A? Okay. How do you know that? What is it about?
Upward slip.
It's up. And how do our bodies act when we're feeling up? Why do we say feeling up? Why do we say down in the dumps, feeling down, down and out, down in the mouth? Okay, so a lot of graphology is just an extension of body language. Okay, so up is up. You know, they're finding out all kinds of wonderful things about up, that if you hold your bodies up, you're more likely to smile, you have an increased immune system, their endorphins are rolling out more, you're in a better mood. Just by physically holding your body up, you can get yourself in a better mood. Who has more work drive, A or B? Ready? Who has more work drive, A or B?
B.
Yes! Why? What is it about B? Heavy T-bars. See, work drive is this. Okay, this is work drive. So when you go like this, that's how you're feeling. Okay, this is... Okay? I want to know who's more generous with her personal time and energy. Okay. Okay, who gives more of themselves, A or B?
B.
How did you know? What is the difference? Yes. That's right. You see, each word is symbolically you, the person. And what you do at the end of each word represents how you feel towards other people in your environment. So this person goes, no, you don't. I'm not getting anything. Okay, and this person goes, oh, here, take me, have all of me. Okay? So if you're looking for someone who is a giver of their personal time and energy, you want to see ending strokes on cursive writing. Cursive is connected. Right. You'll notice that in the fourth line, he says, and then I left work at, big space, uh-oh. What am I going to put here? My usual time of, uh-oh. So we know the janitor didn't really leave at 6 in the morning. And what actually happened in this case is I told the investigators that I couldn't find anybody who was directly lying about taking the $52,000, but that the janitor appeared to be lying about the time that he left work. And what actually happened in this case is that the daytime manager had come in during the janitor's shift and told him it was okay if he left work early, that he had some work to do around the place, and go home, and I won't tell anybody, you don't tell anybody, or the other workers will be upset that I left you off early. And who do you think took the money? The daytime manager. So by alerting the authorities that the janitor was not being truthful about the time that he left work, it gave the authorities the opportunity to ask the janitor what happened. The janitor finally confessed that the daytime manager told him he could leave early. They interviewed the daytime manager and found out that he was actually the bad guy. And now we turn to page 5. And again, because I like to show you that so much of this is based on common sense, that you already know a great deal about what handwriting means without realizing it, before I tell you more, I'm going to have you use you as guinea pigs once again. So we have right here 2 people, and I apologize that the samples are not the clearest. But one of these people is adjudged forthright and honest, and one of them was found guilty by deception by way of omission of pertinent information. Okay, in order to get which one of these, A or B, is the one that's devious by way of omission, I'll ask you a simple question here, and you'll be able to get the right answer. Okay, who's devious by way of omission, A or B? B. B. Okay, when you suddenly don't want to make something clear, let's say you don't know how to spell a word. You very often, when you get to the part you don't know how to spell, you kind of squiggle it, okay? Or when you get to a part where you're saying something that you don't really mean, you just sort of automatically start squiggling it and making it illegible. Okay, based on that, who is being more devious by way of omission, A or B? B. B. Okay, so which writer was found guilty by deception of pertinent information by way of omission is B, and which one is clearer is A. Does anybody know who sample B's handwriting is?
The guy.
No, this is Richard Nixon's writing. B is Richard Nixon. Wherever you slow down, you're being careful lest you give your real self away. So overly slow writing means calculated responses. When we judge each other's papers today and try to find the lies, the number one way you'll find it is that you made a mistake. Some of you probably already know this. When you started writing your lie, you made a mistake. You noticed that you made a mistake. Okay, because that's the war going on between the conscious and the subconscious mind. So if you're an employee, a personnel officer, and you get an application, and it's permeated with mistakes, that prospective employee is a poor risk factor simply because mistakes are never a sign of anything good. They're either physically ill. You don't want to hire anybody like that. They're either on drugs or alcohol. Why would you want somebody who showed up for an interview that way? Or they're lying a lot. There's never a good reason for making a lot of mistakes. Okay? If the mistakes only occur in certain places, then wherever they occur, you have to take that into consideration. Uh-oh, something's wrong here. Okay, number 3, constantly touching up your writing. Okay? So let's say that you write the word call, and you write it like that, and you go back and go, oops. And you make the L a little bigger. If that's the only thing you do wrong, then you're a perfectionist. You want to be letter perfect. But if there are other signs of dishonesty in the writing, 3 or more signs, we generally need 4 to say you're dishonest, then this is a sign of someone who goes back and covers their tracks. Always looking for maybe slipping up and leaving a clue. Okay? Number 4, overly styled writing, overly stylized writing, flamboyant swirls and curlicues is the bluffer. Okay, the con artist, the boastful con artist, you know, big things all over the place. Pretentious writing, the con artist puts on. Okay, number 5, aha, your ovals. Okay, what are ovals? Ovals are any circular parts of the handwriting. So an O is an oval, an A is an oval, a G has an oval, a D has an oval. Okay? Now watch. We can think of these ovals as your mouth. What if I do this? Or I do this? Or I do that? Okay? Let me ask you a question. Okay. Let's see. Okay. A and B. Okay. Okay? I want you just to look at the O. One of these people, A or B, speak with forked tongue. Who is it? B. So the ovals, when they're clean lined, is just honesty in general. Okay? If you put things in them You know, you loop them, triple loop them, double loop them, stab them, put little gizmos inside of them. Those are all associated with lying. And it's so amazing when you look at your lies today, how many of you started stabbing your ovals when you started to tell your lie. It's just something that happens to human beings. They feel guilty. All by itself, having loops in your ovals means secretive. If there's no other signs of dishonesty, then it's just secretive. However, stabbing is always a sign of lying. Always. It's one of the most useful traits in all of graphology. So much of my work is finding the guilty party through written statements. A crime has been committed. All the suspects are asked to sit down, write out what they know, where they were. Do they have any knowledge? What did they witness? And if you're lying, boy, I can't tell you how often you'll start stabbing your ovals. It's just amazing. If you stab them all the time and you lie all the time. Okay? And you're not going to believe this until you actually start using it, until you get those handwriting samples. Before I tell you anything, I know you're going to want your last unbiased sample of your own doodles. So, you've all been given a doodle packet, and after the opening page, you will see the Doodle Test. And the Doodle Test consists of 2 pages, so on page 1 and page 2. And here are the directions for taking the Doodle Test, which I'm going to ask you to do as soon as I finish with the instructions. There are 12 squares, 6 on page 1 and 6 on page 2. You are to look at each square one at a time, holding the staple in the upper left corner. In other words, don't do the Doodle Test sideways, or don't do it upside down. Do it with the staple in the upper left corner. Look at each square one at a time and draw in it the first thing that comes to your mind. If you don't do the first thing that comes to your mind, it doesn't work very well. Okay, so even if it's something you go, oh, that's sick, do it anyway. It's not an art test. Just draw to the best of your ability. Okay, get on, you'll have as much time as you need and as much time as we're willing to give you. No, I'm kidding. Just ready, set, go. Now, what you did here today, filling out these 12 doodle squares, this little doodle test came from Austria, and I'm sorry I don't know the author. And it's used all over the world. These are projection doodles. Some of you may have taken a projection test in a psychologist's office. Very often there you look at a picture of a card and then tell a story ending with the picture you see. For example, on one of them there's a little boy staring at his violin. That's a very common one, and you're supposed to tell a story that ends with that picture. This is very much what you did here today. It's a projection type of test. You see an image and then you project onto it what comes into your mind. So these are conscious doodles. Most of us doodle unconsciously, unless we're sort of artists and we like to draw all over the place. And the most common times to doodle are when you're distracted. Very often during a telephone conversation, you'll find yourself doodling. You'll find yourself doodling when you're in a boring meeting. You'll find yourself doodling when you're taking a class and the class isn't that interesting. Later we're going to find out that it's not always good to doodle. For example, if you have a teenager who brings home school papers and there's doodles all over it, 9 times out of 10 that child is not doing that well in that class where they're doodling all over the place. Usually it means, I don't really want to be here, I'd rather be drawing, I'd rather be playing, and they're not really concentrating that much on their work. At other times, doodles are wonderful, and they're a sign of creativity and everything else, but there's a time and a place to doodle. Analyzing doodles is very necessary when people can't write, and there's a lot of people who, for some reason or other, never learn to write, don't like to write, feel obstructed when they write. Doodles are wonderful. You can give this test as early as a child is able to draw. So you can do it from 5 or 6 on, you can give this test. And later on, I'll show you test response of a 10-year-old. And then I'll show you some abnormal ones, unless some of you have some abnormal ones. Now, I want you to all have your doodle tests on your desk because I'm going to be using you as guinea pigs for our home viewer. Okay? Each one of these boxes represents a certain part of your personality. At the very end of your doodle booklet is a blank doodle test. so that those of you, I know, after you find out what all this means, you're going to love this so much you want to run home and give it to all your friends and family. So that's why we provided you with an extra one, so you can go Xerox it and make copies and give this test to everybody you know. Okay, so let's get started. These are wonderfully fun. Okay, and remember, just like with handwriting, if I point you out as a psycho, or so what? You know, we'll get all of you. Don't worry about it. Okay? The first box with the little circle in it, this is your self-image. Okay, the most common response is a flower. The number one response is to make this a sun. How many people made this into a sun? With rays coming out or anything like that? Okay, if you did make it a sun, that's good. You might have a sunny disposition. If you put a face, how many faces do we have? Yeah, that's all. Okay, it's very important what the expression on the face is. You want to see a smile. What do you think it means if someone's frowning or crying? That wouldn't be too good, okay? So did anybody make two circles out of the one circle? Good. We have no schizophrenics in here. Oh. Okay. Oh, a dot in the middle. We'll talk about your disturbance later. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We have anything beside a flower or a face or a sun or a moon? Oh, an eye. Eyes are very common, and eyes mean suspiciousness. Feeling like you have to have eyes on all sides of your head, it's a sign of suspiciousness, the feeling that you can't trust somebody. Yes? A bullseye? Mountains? Okay. With an arrow in it? Okay. We'll talk about making yourself a bullseye later and what all the ramifications of that means. Okay, the letters of your name. Okay, a little disturbance here, but that's okay. At least it's your name and not someone else's. Okay. Okay, now this is an amazing thing, just to show you how universal these images are. The upper right box on the first page is your attitude toward your home life. 99% of the people around the world, it doesn't matter what language, from anybody who can take an implement in their hand and draw, will do something to do with inside or outside of a building. They will make this a door, they'll make it a fireplace, they'll make it a table.